joining us now. It is time for us to review the week that has been. And, well, with health matters were all over the headlines, with a crisis at the Kenyatta National Hospital, not just deepening, but also taking an ethnic lane. For this and much more, welcome to the Week in Review. And I'd like to introduce the guests that we have this morning. I'll start with my extreme left, where we have James Mamboleo, who's an advocate. Good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
We also have Mushiri Medamo, who's a former Senate candidate. Good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Degwan Jiro, an advocate.
Good morning.
And last but not least, Mark Bichachi, who is a political, is it analyst or expert? Strategist. That's the one. I knew there was a technical word right there. But gentlemen, thank you for joining us this morning. And just to review the weekend, of course, one of the stories that has hit the headlines is Kenyatta National Hospital, starting with an error that obviously should not have happened, but now it's metamorphosizing to a political angle where I'd just like to hear your comments. Let's start with you, Mark.
Kenyatta National Hospital does 29,000 surgeries a year. Kenyatta National Hospital is the most important hospital in the country. But by its nature, it's a referral hospital, meaning that it's the hospital you go to at a worst case scenario, meaning that the statistics that will come out of that hospital are rarely good. It is a crisis-prone organization. That does not mean that the mistaken surgery was a bad thing, but I think what happened is by the overreaction by media and Kenyans has caused something that even by legal practice, there's a process for it.
Explain what an overreaction is in this case, when somebody's brain has been opened up when they shouldn't have been opened up. How is that an overreaction?
I'll tell you why it's an overreaction. Number one, out of 29,000 surgeries, this is just one, okay?
The one that we know?
Yes. No, it's actually just one where they've mistaken, because if you, the records are there. You know, this is why there's a board to deal with errors, medical errors that happen. And they're actually very common. They are common in the United States, they're common in Germany.
Sorry, I'll have to interrupt you. Apparently, there's a problem with the mic. It's not that the content is wrong, but Mamboleo, let me come to you on Kenyatta National Hospital. And maybe, do you think that it's an overreaction?
I want to disagree with my friend Mark very seriously. That is one of those errors that should not happen. Even if statistically such kind of things might happen because of the nature of the number of cases that you will see in these hospitals, I think when it happens, we must all be extremely outraged. And I don't want to imagine that anyone is in his right or her right sense of mind when they say that, you know, the management of the Kenyatta National Hospital is being targeted because of political reasons or whatever other reasons. I believe very strongly that the steps that the CS and the ministry are taking in respect of Kenyatta National Hospital are extremely important. And it's not just that error. That error is just one of the many problems that Kenyatta National Hospital is experiencing. Those of us who go to Kenyatta National Hospital, I think Mark might not be going there. He looks like a Nairobi Hospital, Aga Khan type of fellow. Those of us who go to Kenyatta National Hospital know that you could actually easily die on the queue. So what is the use of having a referral hospital which will not help you when you are referred there in the first place? There are many issues that you have seen in the past couple of months. Children being stolen, people saying they go there, they can't get the services they go to seek there for. So I think the important discussion should be this, okay? When we prognose or when we diagnose a problem such as the one that you have seen at Kenyatta National Hospital, we should just let the agencies involved get down to the root cause of those problems. And the management there should not be defensive. Of course, nobody should go out to witch hunt anybody, but the management there should not be defensive. They should let the course of investigations continue, and if they are exonerated, then they will say, okay, there was nothing here.
And go back to work. And gentlemen, I'll get to your comments just briefly, but first of all, let's look at what I'd look at as a summary of what has been happening this week, but we'll come back to Kenyatta National Hospital. But there's been quite a number of things that have been taking center stage in terms of the news, and this is a summary.
This week, the Kenyatta National Hospital remained in the news for all the wrong reasons after that surgery that went wrong last week. And besides the medics who oversaw the controversial surgery being sent home and their suspension lifted on Thursday, the suspension axe also fell on KNX CEO Lily Koros, and a section of MPs have come out guns blazing, defending one of their own and threatening to impeach Health Cabinet Secretary Cicely Kariuki.
We want to tell Cicely Kariuki that knee-jerk reactions are a sign of weak, clueless, inept, and incompetent leadership. And that is not something we are going to take very lightly.
If Lily Koros has to step aside, it is equally prudent that Cicely Kariuki steps aside because she is the direct head of the Ministry of Health.
With the revenues shrinking and the government running out of room to borrow, Kenya is now instituting tough austerity measures. According to Treasury Cabinet Secretary Henry Rotich, there is urgent need to reduce county budget, with every indication that the country is running broke. And Kenyans must now brace themselves for tough times ahead, with fuel prices already up in the sky. And now to education matters, where it has emerged that serious errors dot the new curriculum textbooks, confusing learners countrywide. Already Education Cabinet Secretary Amina Mohamed has admitted that the 33 million books that cost a whopping 7 billion Kenyan shillings procured by the government have multiple errors. But the ministry fell short of recalling the books altogether.
As you know, it's a pilot, 470 schools, grade 1 and 2, and now we are moving into grade 3. It's a new, again, curriculum that's being developed with all new things. There are hiccups, and those hiccups will be addressed. The good thing is that you actually identify the hiccups so that they can be dealt with. But we're still rolling it out, and I think at the end of the trial period, we will come out and tell Kenyans, right, how we will move forward with that curriculum, the new curriculum, which is competency-based.
Turning to security matters, and troubled Mount Elgon is under a 90-day night curfew following deadly attacks that have put residents on the edge. Interior CS Dr. Fred Matiang'i made the announcement on Tuesday during a tour alongside Devolution CS Eugene Wamalwa and their Lands counterpart Farida Karunei.
Sisi na maofisa wa usalama ndio tutakuwa tukitembea hapa wakati huo. Tukipatana na wewe itakuwa vibaya sana. Kama kuna watu ambao wanajua hao wangwana, wawaambie kwamba wao ndio tumekuja kuonana nao hapa.
Staying with security, and non-local teachers in northeastern Kenya are counting on a motion tabled in Parliament by NAT Secretary General Wilson Sossion to speed up their transfers from Mandera, Garissa, and Wajir counties. The teachers have been in Nairobi for 3 weeks now to meet with the Teacher Service Commission, seeking to effect their transfers.
Mandera has no towns, Garissa has no towns, Wajir has no towns. To make matters more worse, the policemen who have been killed and those who were killed in the towns like Elwak.
We are not going back to northeastern province.
All right, and that's basically a summary of what has been going on. But we'll start off, and we had already started off with Kenyatta National Hospital. And let me hear Degwa Njiro.
Yes.
There's two conflicting opinions here. He says that it is
I hadn't even started saying.
No, we'll come back to you.
Yes.
Your thoughts?
It surprises me when I get to listen to my colleague trying to trivialize the issue of Kenyatta. The issue of Kenyatta should not just be looked at a one-case scenario. It should be taken as an opportunity of exposing the rots in our public institutions. And this should actually be extended to other national governments and hospitals and county hospitals. The truth is, Kenyans are suffering in these institutions. Remember, the majority of us, where I and Mamboleo falls, are the category of the Kenyatta, are the category of our local hospitals, even in the counties. We are not able to get the first-class medical facilities as Bichache may. But the fact of the matter is, we are trying to trivialize what happened in Kenyatta. It is a very serious medical negligence. Remember, someone came to Kenyatta Hospital having a broken limb or maybe having a small problem, then you get your head being opened. We must be able to investigate where the back lies. The back lies with Koros, and I'm not holding anyone's brief here, because she is the one who is mandated into putting into place a system that works perfectly. For instance, if when I go to medical hospitals, say a private institution, if they want to identify me whether I am on an insurance scheme, they have actually computerized that thing these days. You just need to put your thumb and you are properly identified. If you are paying by cash, nobody identifies you through the print, the thumbprint. Why are we not able to get a proper system of identifying patients and categorizing them depending on their needs? So to me, when I hear politicians try to say, oh, Koros is being witch-hunted, now because she's being witch-hunted by Kariuki, Kariuki also has to go, we are actually failing the nation because we are not addressing the issue as it ought to be. Remember now, we are no longer focusing at those doctors. I even hear that they have actually been reinstated.
Some have been reinstated.
Some of them have been reinstated. Has the investigation been completed? What is the finding of the investigation? And the question is, why have we usurped the whole process of this negligence and crowned it with some political sugarcoating? So at the end of the day, we may end up not addressing the issue as it is and just get it politicized. I have seen a statement, I don't know how true that it is, from one of the Mount Kenya region MP from Nyeri, I don't want to quote his name. He's trying to say that Kariuki has no problem. Kariuki may not be having a problem, but the question is it Kariuki or Koros, or are we talking about a medical field institution and a full health sector failure?
All right, Mushiri, let me come to you. Are we getting lost in looking at the sideshows, whereas maybe we're not dealing with the issue? Because at the end of the day, there are surgeries taking place today. And if that is not sorted out with yesterday's problem, we may still end up where we are right here, talking about the same thing.
Right. I think, Mike, Kenyans cannot afford to go for a week without the Kenyatta hospital. It is a very important medical facility in this country. But now, coming back to what happened a week ago, is it a week ago or 2 weeks ago, amounts to professional misconduct. And I was of the opinion, and I still stand with that opinion, that the doctor himself, the surgeon, ought to have been compelled to take the responsibility, not the CEO who does not visit theaters. I think what we have now, and what Cecily Kariuki did, I still believe she was misled by her advisors. I think what we need to have in Kenyatta Hospital is to be honest with ourselves. We've been told many times that what the problems we have, part of the problems that we have in that hospital is the understaffing. We have the congestion. We have underfunding. We have the political chicanery, political thuggery, because that hospital usually generates a lot of money every day, more than 10 million per day, beside what they get from the national government, money that goes to the tune of 10 billion per year. So what we have nowadays at the KNH is a serious problem that must be handled with utmost sobriety.
Why don't you call it a death trap?
Oh, come on.
Yes, yes. For one reason, that the hospital is not able to provide the required standards of facilities of health. Why do we keep on having people flying to India for small medical checkups?
I just said a while ago, Bwana Wakiri, that we cannot afford to stay without at the hospital.
You know, we go to those hospitals.
We've just been told that about 29,000 surgeries do happen at the hospital every year.
What is the condition in which they happen in?
That is true. That is true. We have got the figures. That's where I'm coming in, to explain that the hospital is pathetically underfunded, seriously understaffed. There is a lot of congestion. A hospital that has got 1,200 beds, right now it has got more than 3,000 patients, inpatients. That's unfortunate. So that's why I'm saying that if Cecily Kariuki seeks to be taken as sincere in her fight against corruption in that hospital, in her fight against mismanagement of that facility, then she has to do proper investigation, devoid of...
Only one thing
Let me hear from Mark first.
Yes.
He has not had a chance to speak.
Let's understand something. Number one, you give no development budget in 6 years. Number two, despite no development budget, this CEO is building a new renal facility, a new cancer treatment facility. You've had 28,999 successful surgeries. You want to accost her on one. The problem I have with this country is two things. Number one, whenever it is a woman in charge, we are very quick to kick her out.
Wait, now it has become
This is not a feminist issue. No. This is not a feminist issue. Not at all.
Mark is terribly
not
mixing
on
issues.
that premises.
You know what? You speak.
Mark is
Are
terribly...
you going to allow me to speak?
Not on that premises.
Gentlemen, let's allow him to finish.
Thank you.
Let's allow him to finish.
So, number one, let's understand. Lily Koros, zero corruption, okay? The alleged rape cases, not a shred of evidence. And by that I mean, the places where they said these things could have happened, there was CCTV footage.
Okay,
That was
I'm told by the director we need to take a break. We have to pay some bills, but when we come back, you're the first one to speak. So this is the Week in Review. We're taking a short break. We'll be right back.